Okay, so we finished with looking at the various day books, and we picked the sales day book. At least now we know what each of them is used for, right? And specifically, the sales day book is used to record credit sale of goods on daily basis. Now let's look at the format of this day book. Actually, the sales day book, the purchase day book, return inwards and return outwards have same format in terms of the columns, right? The columns. So let me show you these columns, and then so if you are asked to prepare a sales day book or a purchase day book or return inwards or return outwards, you normally need to have the following columns. So you first of all put the title or the heading sales day book, right? And then the first column will take the date. You know, in accounting we don't joke with our date. After the date, you have what we call particulars. Okay, particulars. Then we have details. Now I want to speak on this one. So when you are preparing the account, I want to believe your teacher said that the particulars or details are the same, right? Yes, but in the day books we try to differentiate because the details column is used to also do another important calculation. So we have date, particulars, details, folio, and I want to believe you know of this word folio, and then you have the last column, which is amount. So either your sales day book, purchase day book, return inwards day book, or return outwards day book has these columns, right? Okay, let me speak about the folio. Now the folio is more or less like a reference column. It tells you where you can find the transaction in the ledger. Remember I said that when we record in the day books, we post them to the ledger. The scenario I gave, when we record in our jotters, we transfer them to our main notebook. So when we record in our day books, we transfer or post them to the ledgers. So when you record in the day book, you need to tell us where or in which ledger we can find the transaction, because you are going to post it into the ledger. So you tell us what ledger you are posting into and the page number where we can find it. That is the main work of this folio. Now, as my dear professors, unfortunately, you shouldn't worry your head, or should I say fortunately, you shouldn't worry yourselves with the folio column, because it's not a column that is required of us to prepare, because most of the times we are just doing everything on a sheet of paper. So you can't be referring to pages and books and all that. So we normally ignore the folio page, right? So that is going to go off. So we now have the date, particulars, details, and amount. The date is self-explanatory. If the transaction occurred on 1st, 2nd, 5th, whatever, you put it there with the month and the year. The particulars, pay attention. The particulars. In the case of sales day book, the particulars takes the name of the debtor. Remember, if you are selling goods on credit, it simply means what it means is that the person, the customer, becomes what? A debtor. So the particulars column will take the names of the debtors, as well as if you have to give description of the item. So for example, we sold goods on credit to Kofi. So Kofi will be the name under the particulars, as the debtor. But maybe we sold 10 buckets of paint, 15 cement. Okay, so those description of the items can also be written under the particulars. Okay, and then the detail column, what does it do? It is used to do some calculations or addition and subtraction. So like I said, for example, we sold 100 bags of maize, right? and one bag is 20 cedis. You'd have to show that workings, that okay, then it's going to be 100 multiplied by what? 20. Okay, to give us how much? 2,000, right? Ghana cedis. So sometimes it becomes necessary for you to do this multiplication, addition, and subtraction when you are preparing your sales day book, and you do all those workings under the details column. And then the amount column will take the final or the net figure you get from your calculations. Okay, so these are the columns that you need for your sales day book. And like I mentioned, the purchase day book, return inwards day book, and return outwards day book follow same format: date, particulars, details, and what? Amount. I spoke of the folio, and I think we are comfortable with that now. Please, any question? Oh, professors, you don't like asking questions. Oh. Does that mean you understand whatever I'm saying, or somebody say, Mr. Amawana will say, so we have heard. There's no question. No question, Professor?
No, sir.
Okay, awesome. So, like I mentioned, it's a matter of just putting the heading on this to make it either a sales day book or purchase day book. So, if you are preparing a sales day book, you put it on the heading sales day book or sales journal. You can use any of those names. If it is purchases, you write purchase day book, and the columns remain the same: date, particulars, details, and amount. For my professors to at least get a better experience with this, you see, in your notebooks, you are going to draw the format, right? So you take your pen and your rule or straight edge. Then you begin to do things like this. So let me demonstrate that in the next slide. Okay. So you are going to write your sales day book, right? You underline it. Forgive me, I'm not using a straight edge. So your first column will be the date, second will be the particulars, you have the details, and then the amount. So let me see if I can scribble the name. Please don't laugh at my handwriting. This is a digital handwriting. We have to make this. So sales day book, then you can put in the date on the first column, right? The particulars, details, and amount. So this is how it would look like your exercise or notebook when you draw it. Okay. So I believe that is fair, because I'm using a table on Microsoft, so you might think that. Okay. Now, what we have to do is to now begin to solve illustrations where we'll be given transactions, and we have to record them in this books of what account, right? But I think today, early days yet, I wouldn't want to take my professors through that journey, right? So I'll speak a little. I'll just put in some scenarios so that you can appreciate. So let's say, for example, on 5th January 2026, we sold goods to Kofi. So the particulars will pick Kofi. Okay. an amount of 2,000 Ghana cedis. So this is how you do the recording. You put the date, the name of the debtor, that's the customer you sold the goods to on credit, and you put the amount there. Right. Let me see if I can write these transactions here so that professors will know how it goes. So 1st January 2026, sold goods to Kofi, $2,000. Okay, so from this transaction, that's how you record it, right? Please always make sure to put your currency at your amount column, otherwise you lose precious marks, and as well as the details column, because at that point you do a lot of numbers there. Now let's look at another one on the 10th of January 2026. Let's say this time we sold 10 boxes of, let's say, cement, right, to AC at 50 of $500 per box. So there's the transaction. How do we record it in the daybook? So we come to the daybook, 10th January 2026. What will be under the particulars? Let me engage my professors more. What are we going to put under the particulars? Yes, Prof. Amuzu.
AC.
AC, very good. That's the name of the customer or the debtor. But here, look at the item. The item has been described here. It's not just goods. 10 boxes of cement. So under the particulars, we will put that, okay, we sold cement to who? AC. And we have to do some calculations, okay, which is the $500 per box multiplied by the 10 boxes, okay. And that is going to give us how much in terms of amount? $5,000. So this is how you use these columns when probably, the items are there. You have to describe the items and all that. Now, let me give an important update. You have to note that when you are selling goods, sometimes you give discount. The same way when you are purchasing goods, you receive discount. Now, there are two main types of discount. Professors, note this down. In accounting, we have two main types of discount. So discounts. A discount is an allowance or reduction, okay? Reduction in the price of goods or services. But I'm saying that we have two types of discount. Number one is called trade discount, and number two is cash discount. What is trade discount and what is cash discount? Any idea? Maybe my professors might have come across it. What is a trade discount and what is a cash discount? Oh, no one. Prof. David, you want to say something?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So a trade discount is an allowance given for bulk purchase of goods As in if you buy in bulk, and I think we all experience this in the market. They say buy one for 10 cedis, but if you buy two, you will pay 12 cedis. What it means is that, but if one is 10 cedis, then two should be 20. If one is 10 cedis, two should be 20. But because you are buying two, you are buying more, right? Buying in bulk means you are buying more. They are giving you some reduction. So instead of paying 20 for the two, you are asked to pay 12. Please, you get the understanding for the trade discount. The cash discount, on the other hand, is given for prompt payment, when you make payment promptly. And this one too, we experience it. Sometimes when you go to a shop to buy something, they say, okay, if you pay right now, you pay 20 cedis. But if you are going to pay next month, you pay 30 cedis. So you see, you get a reduction of 10. That is, instead of paying 30 cedis, you pay 20 for making a prompt or an instant payment. So these are the two types of discount in accounting, right? But the one that the accountant records in his books or in the books of the business is the cash discount. The trade discount, we take care of them when we are preparing our day books. How do we do that? It's an allowance, it's a reduction, so we less it from the gross figure. For example, in the scenario I gave, okay, for sold goods to Kofi $2,000, less 10% discount. Then we say this is a trade discount because here Kofi is not making any payment for you to say that it is a cash discount. It's a trade discount. He's buying goods and we have given him some reduction because he's buying in bulk. If you are recording this in the daybook, look at what happens. You put in the date, put in the name Kofi, right? But you put the gross figure at the detail column, okay? Then you go and tell us that you need to less 10% discount. And 10% of 2,000, that will give you how much? 200. So you now less this discount and the net figure, which is going to be 1,800. That is what goes under the amount column. That is why in my explanation earlier I said that the amount column takes the net or amount. Okay, so when you are preparing your daybook, watch out for this discount. Most of the time they will appear, and you have to work them out. You subtract it from the gross figure so that you can get the net figure. Okay. Please, any question? Now, these things I'm talking about would also be same when you are doing the purchases daybook, return inwards and return outwards. You'll be doing workings of discounts, subtractions, etc. Okay. So professors, let me do a quick review of today's lesson. So we started by saying that in accounting, we use books in recording transactions. Now, technology is in the picture, so you don't see the traditional books, as in the notebooks or the Krata books, if I should say. We do it on computers, okay, we have software, okay, but it doesn't matter. It still maintains that we have books where we record business transactions, okay. Now, these books come in two forms or types, the day books and the ledgers. And I gave you the names of the day books. It could be the journal, subsidiary book, book of prime entry, or book of original entry. And then the ledgers are called principal books of account. We picked the day books or the journals, and we said there are 7 of them. Now, these books are used to record transactions first on daily basis. So they are prime books of entry or books of prime entry. The 7 of them we mentioned: sales day book, purchase day book, return inwards day book, return outwards day book, the cash book, petty cash book, and the general journal. I was able to tell us what each of them is used for. Then we picked the sales day book, tried to go into details, what it looks like, and how you prepare it. I want to believe my professors are okay and have not confused you to a high level of, So any questions? I have less than a minute to go. Any questions for me? If there are no questions, like I always do, I'll sign off and tell you that when you are eating, mention my name so that at least I'll eat some virtually or online. Okay. So I think there are no questions for Mr. Amwa. I wish you all the best. I'm going to put a small assignment to exercise on the page for you to attend for me on what we discussed today. So thank you very much and I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, the ladies, you won't say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.